team sincerely apologizes for lag and bugs. Moving forward, they are working on preventing and correcting these issues. So at least they're working on that.
Because clearly, even though this is like we
but
had lag during the fucking UQ, and there's barely people online.
This isn't base. This is like base level important. This is like you like if people were complaining about this, like I said, they only gave us one beta, and it was like when they got everyone on. This is when this shit started happening a lot more. Like when there's large numbers of people on at once, this is what happens, and they didn't address it well enough because they're in their own world in Japan where their internet is not complete shit. Like literally, it's not. Like US is in such a much worse state than that, but they didn't do enough of that stuff because we're still connecting to their servers over there. Like I don't know. I don't know if they. I'm sure they have like some servers on this side. Otherwise, it'd be unplayable. Because of the lag between here and JP. Regarding content as shown in the roadmap that was presented prior to the launch, there's a large update scheduled for the winter 2021. In hindsight, he acknowledges that the team should have explained the differences in update policy between PSO2 and NGS.
Explain the differences in update policy.
Yeah, that's the idea was to have something for users to look forward to every week. With base, the idea was to have something for users to look forward to every week, and the updates would arrive every 2 weeks. Then they're saying they out from the gate had the goal of taking longer to create and release larger updates every 6 months. But here's the thing.
But everyone wants to play NGS and they don't want to play base PSO2 anymore because they've already done it.
Yeah, most of us have. And here's the problem is that okay, so it's fine if they want to take longer to make larger updates, right? But if you don't have a long base game to cover that time, you know, if it took us 3 months to beat the story, then that's fine, right? Like if it was set up in such a way that it took
us 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah. Like if it was in such a way where they either did content weekly and stuff like that, and like I said, if the power scaling was better, like where you can like you felt like oh, I feel like I'm level 20 now instead of just feeling underleveled, right? Like if those two things, it would have been better. Like if they had stuff for you to at least farm to level up something, then that would have been a like a better option. But that's not the case. That's not what they did. We beat it in 3 weeks. Or it took us like maybe like 2 months to hit max level on every class. It took us like a few weeks. That took me a bit longer because I haven't been playing as much. To hit 20 on Braver. Like, and it's like that 15 to 20 is a slog. It doesn't feel good to do, to be honest. It just has you running around 1 or 2 areas for like ever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. Like that doesn't feel good. It should they should have like they took really long time, and they should have had, I feel like they should have had more stuff planned out. Like the story isn't very coherent.
What is this popular NPCs and the 2 heroines thing? What is
I don't understand what's going on with that.
What the fuck does anyone
like? Okay,
why does it matter?
so one of the 2 heroines actually has memories of what happened before.
Yeah.
So why don't they explore and expand on her story more? Get us at least grounded of where we fucking are. We're just like, oh, we're here. Like, why is half of our shit gone and we've lost all of our power? Right? We came from the future. We came from the we're in the future now, and we've been alive for 1,000 years and technically, and we came down in a pod. Fucking expand on that. There's a lot of story that they could tell with that, potentially. I mean, I have no idea where the story's going to go with this, but like,
I mean, I feel like we're gonna get caught up in that after we get through like more exploration story of the new areas and stuff.
Maybe, but like, what are they doing? They learn, like you get to like, so people are generally happy about episode 6, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at why didn't they look what they did? Why didn't they look at what they did right in episode 6 and then apply that to NGS? It should be It should be mostly the same people at the helm, with maybe some new people aboard because it's been so long. But that being the case, they should have looked at what went right in episode 6 that made people really happy, right? Because even though we had hit episode 6 and content was starting to run out for us prior to NGS, like we still played the game a lot, like until a certain point, and like the boss fights were fun. The enemy, like we could still go back to the other areas and just fucking trash on enemies and shit if we wanted to. Like, oh, I feel like level 100 now. Like I'm gonna like tap this enemy with a normal attack and kill them instantly. Like just as an idea of like the feel of it. Like plus the classes were really fun to play. Like honestly, what we have right now is a lot of like stuff that just feels like it's underdeveloped. Like all the classes, well, have new moves to them like and stuff like that. They feel like underpowered versions of what we had before.
The new Genesis we're playing right now still feels like it's like a closed beta.
Yeah, this does not. I don't know. I don't know what to say to this. This is like,
yeah, I don't know what this is. What is this?
Did I end up in a bad timeline? It's starting to feel like
pass. It'll pass. There are other things in the world too.
F. I'm pressing F.
F spelled with an E. F.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Aina, Manon, Dozer, and Gara and Li Lin have been popular with players. One reason why Dozer may be popular, despite his looks, he's only 7. What? What the fuck is this?
I don't think people give a shit about that. I'm pretty sure most people don't know what his fucking age actually is.
This is a fucking sentence. Aina and Manon are both considered to be heroines. What?
No shit.
What? What is this shit? Right? I don't know if this is just like a bad translation, like they ran this through like Google Translate or something.
I think that is what that is.
But this by itself does not explain why they're. This doesn't explain why they're popular.
No, I mean
they're anime waifus. Like, that's part of why they're popular, if they're even popular. I know, like both of them are like what bags of noodles as far as their like personality goes.
compared to the base PSO2 NPCs, they're fucking whatever.
I mean, here's the thing.
They're side characters.
Here's the thing. Matoi was kind of one note, but had an interesting backstory, but still had more personality than these two.
Yeah.
She was one note. Like she basically like she was the player, whether you're a guy or a girl. And the SAO event that happened at that they for some reason they should have just left the SAO event in there, honestly, because that was like the last like event that was like really story related that had to do with Matoi post saving the universe, right? Like and where she basically where you can actually basically be like to know that she really does actually like you in that way, right?
Yeah.
Like, or because she like gets flipped out if you hit on her or something like that. Like it's a really cool interaction. But they should have left the event in the game, but they didn't. And like, but she still had more personality than these two. They haven't really like they had a little bit of growth for Aina. Manon is just a fucking like
it just exists.
It's
in the background as a side character.
She's literally a lump of tofu, just sitting there jiggling in the background like the sniff kind.
Jiggling in the background.
Like there's nothing. There's not like she doesn't do anything. Aina has a little bit of growth, but she's still like a pile of mud as far as character development.
So far, Manon has been Aina's babysitter whenever you're not around.
Yeah, pretty much. Like what is this, right? Like, and then in PSO2, Matoi was very popular, and having 2 heroines increases the likelihood that more players will like them. What?
What does it mean?
What? like, oh, because I think you fail to understand what made Matoy good. And it took a while too, right? For Matoy?
Yeah.
Because she was a background character for the whole beginning part of it. They're like, what the fuck is with her? Because occasionally you had to go to the medical section and go and check up on her, but you didn't really have a connection with her. And then as they built up the story,
didn't understand her importance. He just exists.
You're kind of like, what's going on with her? And you kind of visit once in a while and check, make sure she's okay. But then when they start including her more in the story and she starts getting to go out and do stuff, and then you start caring more about her, and it works. The storyline with her works in the end. It's actually really good. But this doesn't. Just because there's two doesn't mean it's better. If they're both piles of mud, we're not going to care. Granted.
Also, we didn't get a replacement for Affin, so that's also a failure.
Oh yeah, we don't have like that like buddy. Like the person that would have been closest to like a buddy was fucking Gaura, and we don't know what his status is. He's MIA. He might actually be dead for all we care about, but I'm pretty sure he isn't because we didn't actually see him die. He just kind of was like, I'm gonna defend, and then like phase away. Like he's probably in the ocean somewhere. Huh?
It's clearly a magical staff that it's not actually a sword.
Yeah, like what? That thing. There's gonna be a point where we have a story. We're gonna have a story beat, and that thing's gonna just be magically gone, and we're like, what happened to it? Like, what happened to it? Where did it go?
No, it's gonna open up a portal right there, and he's gonna come walking through it, and he's like, God, that took too long.
Hey, did you miss me? How long have I been gone? Like, just out of nowhere, he's just gonna come back. Like, and then this one actually kind of pisses me off how they answer this. Now, granted, it's not on Harai himself. He's only relaying information, but he's the voice of the dev team, and so like he's gonna catch a lot of shit for this. In a matter of speaking, I think they've closed themselves off to us for the most part because they don't really listen to us at this point. Like they like what I think the like Sega, the marketing department here in the US and Sega outside of like surveys they're giving us are seeing, they're looking on social media and other stuff like that and seeing what we're saying about it, and then they're relaying that to the dev team. But that's still very limited because there's only so much they can say, and they have to structure it in a way for them to understand, and that makes sense market wise for them. And while I understand that part of it, it's still really shitty considering how big this game is supposed to be and how much money that we've probably already spent in it collectively.
Yeah,
like they're not going to release those sales figures to us on how much they've actually made off of that, but it's enough to fucking keep the company running. Like PSO2 has been their baby forever, on money wise. And I think the collaborations have been kind of shit for right now. I think they'll get better ones in the future once they truly get going with this. But
which will probably be after the winter update.
Maybe. I really wish I had hand gestures right now because I do like, it's like I'm doing like kind of like a hand motion of like a little bit, maybe just a little bit. In any case, this is gonna be a big shit thing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The team on scratch tickets containing additional items. The team acknowledges that they should have made an announcement prior to the game launch that NGS SG scratch tickets would function differently compared to those available in PSO2. The reason for the change was to make items obtained from SG scratch tickets, which are untradeable, to prevent cheating. Wait, huh?
That's cheating. That's cheating? What's cheating?
This is all cosmetic items. What the fuck are you guys talking about? And like money doesn't mean, like Meseta in this game doesn't mean jack shit at this point.
And if you need to do scratches for SG, someone still has to pay for it.
Yeah, the fuck. Additionally, the base of available to players who had not yet received them. I guess they're saying that. Wait, this part doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
Which are untradeable. Wait, was to make the reason for the change was to make items obtained from SG scratch tickets, which are untradeable to prevent cheating, available to players who not receive available to players who had not yet received them. Huh? I don't understand that. Okay. Additionally, the pace of the SG scratch ticket updates for PSO2 was once a year. However, NGS will provide new scratches every 1 to 2 months. So the updated amount is fine. Like having new items in the system more is fine. But
they're cramming it all into the same thing.
But making the drop rates for everything low by adding more and more items is bullshit. Especially since we can't trade it. There's no reason. Why? Like, what? You're just making it harder for us to actually get things. Instead of like, and we're not going to...
Yeah, so whenever they put new stuff in there, it's harder to get the new stuff.
And you're not, by doing this, you're not convincing us to buy SG, which is like, if you want us to like spend money on SG, which actually has a shittier exchange rate for us, you're going to want to do smaller ones so that we go beyond, like, you're not giving us a reason to spend SG right now. Like, even though we get a shit ton of it for free, you're still not, like, with what we get, we're not spending because, like, you're going to make this stuff
there's no good reason to spend that much SG.
Yeah, there's no good reason for it. It's all cosmetic items anyway. Why are you putting it, like, I understand that that's to get free cosmetic items there. And
no,
it seems like yeah, it's all cosmetic items. Why is that cheating? It's weapon camos.
Because fashion's endgame.
Sure, but how is that cheating? Like cheating, I would imagine affects gameplay.
Because you're beating the game by having better fashion.
But wouldn't being able to acquire the better fashion and wearing it encourage me to play the game more? Because like how popular it is going to be based off of how what do you call it? How popular this is going to be based off of, like, they're looking at like active users online at any given time. And if you're making it easy for us to want to play the game because we want to have the fashion and be running around in it, that would convince us to play the game more. And it would be more popular. That way.
Like having more save slots for looks.
Yeah. Like all of that stuff. Like, I don't know why.
What do you mean with thousands of outfits? But I can only save 30 looks with premium.
With premium. So they're like requiring us to pay monthly or monthly or bi-monthly or like every 3 months by
30, 60, or 90.
Yeah. 30, 60, or 90 days, like at a time. And you have to pay that with, I think, is that, I forget if that's SG or if that's, no, that's AC for that.
Yeah, it's AC.
But regardless, like, they're already getting us on SG for 30, 60, or 90 for material storage, which is almost mandatory with how many materials there are. Just so you don't take up all of your inventory. Like, this is, my God, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm really, man, I haven't been this upset about stuff in a while, but it's like, it's like, it doesn't, the decisions that they're making don't even make good business sense. And business sense doesn't make any common sense at all, but here we are. But being in America like we are, like, it doesn't make business sense even.
No, it doesn't.
Like, I understand if they want to take longer between releases so that they're not stressing out their workforce, but if they don't make initial content long enough to handle like people playing on it, because they should know how hard people play on their content, right? Like, if you're playing this casually,
like especially because they gave us the North America servers and how much we were able to play through within, the couple of years we had it.
Yeah,
how many people were already clearing all of the content.
Yeah, like I mean, I was behind the curve on base because of life and other stuff like that, and also because I didn't have a good alliance originally to help get me through content. Like, I got stuck in places and not sure how to proceed, and was scared to do the affixing content or the affixing stuff that makes stuff.
It's
stronger.
Still scary to do it.
It's like, honestly, NGS is a lot less scary.
It is so much less scary right now.
Yeah. Like, in like base though, it's a fucking nightmare. Like, I have a god the god roll, or not the god roll. That's a Destiny term. I have the god tier affixes for, or the god affixes for Gunblade, for Luster on that. I don't
Yeah.
have it on the armor. I wanted to get the armor done too, so I could, do the hardest stuff, like the level 200 stuff. Because that would have been
Without sucking.
without getting completely turned into mush as soon as I got hit. Um, although like although I feel like base was more responsive, like control wise, for the stuff.
I don't know.
Um, it felt really responsive, and I play with a controller though. Like it felt like comparatively, it feels a lot more responsive and
Well, I feel like it's harder to actually respond to the things that happen for combat wise in base PSO2.
I had an easier time. It's harder for me now in
Right.
in NGS. Like I could reliably pair like step dodge stuff in with Luster uh on base, and then this one just like I'm like I clearly hit it at the right time, but I still got hit. Like that's where I'm at with this anyway. That and the fact that the fucking petas are everywhere, and they take, even at like with a max tier, like with max tiered armor, like fully leveled out. Like I leveled everything up all the way, like way more than I normally would put
Yep.
into a game, right? I went out and I went, it's like, let's fucking do it, right? I have like a katana you can only get from the, like, the strongest enemies in the game at the moment. I have that maxed out leveled, maxed out affixed on, like, with the best affixes that cost a fuck ton of Meseta. And also another thing about them saying about cheating about SG, fuck, dude, people like I'm cheating because I'm fucking like wailing out and then getting enough Meseta to buy the affixes I need instead of farming them out. Like,
Well, it's because actually farming them is way more ridiculous than just having them, than getting Meseta and then just buying them.
yeah, well that's the other part of it too. But like that's a problem that they created, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, but like they're the decisions they're making aren't making any sense for what, like, even compared to the old game, right?
Yeah.
Like even compared to base, that they're like, Rick, what? Why are you doing this? Like, why haven't you improved the systems that?
Why are you making it worse?
Yeah, right. Like the classes aren't as fun to play. Like it's fun because it looks nicer and it's up to date, but it doesn't feel any funnier to play than it did originally. Like I was expecting a little bit more fluid combat, for instance, because it's like, oh, we're gonna, like, it's stuff that like leads into like because they had a flow to it where
Combos and stuff.
yeah, like where it played a little bit more fluidly instead of like, here, let me just hold a button or something like that. I actually like I like the perfect attack system because
Yeah.
it gave you like a cadence to what you should be doing stuff, and then also then you advance upon that by having like timings for doing alternative attacks with the photon arts you already had or something like that. Like,
Yeah, and
like
there was also, other skills and passive skills that built into using perfect attacks.
yeah, and the damage you did felt good to do. Like, sure, the numbers got a little high, like they did hit millions, but that's about where it ended, right? Like, and but that was only on uncapped content too, because they capped it for specific areas anyway, so the numbers weren't getting too big, even if you were stronger than that. They capped it at a certain point, so you still had to put a little bit of work in. But like basic enemies and stuff like that, you had tools in your photon arts to deal with it at the cost of using photon points. But they're not even doing that here. They're just like costing you fuck tons of photon points and not giving you the damage output that you should probably be getting. Like right now, like as Braver Katana, like I don't know what's wrong with their system with it. It's just like my normal attacks do more than my photon arts. And it's more, I do more deep. I feel like I'm doing more DPS. Like it may just be even a feeling. I'm not sure, like data wise, if I'm doing more with my photon arts versus that. But like I'm hitting like 100, 120 to 170 on probably like high end crits. For my normal attack, and I'm not even, maybe I'll do like two attacks that are
The
two attacks that
what is it?
are that's kind of slow. That are, hmm?
The shift right click one that the attack that has a little bit of range against a single target. I think
Nightmare.
that's the only attack that does more damage than your basic attack.
Wait, which
The other
one?
two skills definitely do not do as much
Are
damage
you,
as
wait,
basic attack.
are you talking about um uh are you talking about the is it the one where you like slash out once and it does a bunch of smaller slashes like in front of
Yeah.
you? No, that actually does less to me because you're hitting like 40 to 60 damage even at max.
Right, but you're hitting multiple times.
Yeah, but I'm doing 3 attacks over and over. That's doing like 120 plus damage. And there's only doing like 5 or 6 hits that are like fucking 60. I'm doing like I'm doing like 3 attacks over and over. That's constantly doing like a total of like over 300 to 400 damage, and then I'm doing one attack that does like maybe half that, or it feels like it's half that anyway. It doesn't feel, and it doesn't. It's only single target. Either. Also, the only crowd control AOE, I can only do like 6 times before I
You
run
can
out.
go through the entire combo with it only twice. Almost 3 if you have enough photon points built into your gear.
Yeah, like it's still, but still, it's like
And then having to try to weave your normal attacks into it so you can gain photon points, but then your normal attacks you have to have be in range of something, actually hit something.
yeah, and you don't get any movement off of that too.
Yeah,
That's
no.
just braver. Like and like Hunter doesn't do a good job if you want to use sword. I haven't really tried the other ones. You know more about like wired lances and other stuff like that than I do.
Wire
But
Lance is the best melee AoE. It's like the best AoE of all the classes, really. Like when we were doing the mining defense with all the little Tinos that come out when they first spawn in, I can hit all of them.
yeah, but I feel like that's like the one of the only ones that maybe have retained whatever. I didn't play it in base either, so I can't really speak about it. But I I imagine that
it
like
has really nice range as a melee weapon.
I
It's
imagine that's
wonderful.
like I imagine the wired lance is probably the only one that's probably closest to base by the sound of it. Like
Yeah, and
they
because we have a different movement system, you don't really need the movement PAs that wire lances were really well known for.
yeah, and like I played a lot of Ranger, so I can speak about that. Ranger, it's like they they made it nicer because it's a constant fire attack now, but
Yeah.
I'm collectively doing less damage. Like I don't feel like I'm doing enough damage to targets.
I feel like some of these things are definitely going to be changed once we get to higher level content and unlock more PAs.
I
Because it
hope
doesn't
so.
seem like they're because it doesn't seem like we should be stuck with only these PAs forever. There's no way.
Yeah, but like they're I don't know. I'm just kind of conflicted because like if they're not the way
Like we're
the problem I
even
have the inherent problem I have with this is that if they're not doing a good job now with it, right? What makes it so sure that they're gonna have it be more usable later on? Because like even the normal attacks in base were pretty effective if you needed to use them to regen, right? You're
I
still
feel like that's because we had the perfect attack system and now we don't.
I forget was the damage values like that much more if you hit a perfect attack versus a normal?
Yeah.
But then that means they just kept the normal attacks without giving you
Without giving a way to have that
an
bonus
equivalent
damage. Yeah.
yeah, they took away something without making something equivalent to make it better and or to bring it back like closer to like the feeling at least like it doesn't have to be the same obviously, but it needs to have like a similar or better feeling than than the original if you're trying to make a new game. And they're not doing it.
Like if they were trying to do it the way they are right now, there should be bonus damages added on to using successive combos.
Or something like that, yeah. Like they want to they should be encouraging us to like experiment and then like make combos with what they did or something like that. But there's no flow between normal attacks and the photon arts, and the photon arts take so much photon points that like I'm just like my best strategy is to fucking just sit there and hammer on normal attacks until I get enough points for more photon arts. And I don't think I should be playing like that.
I still feel like it's something that's going to be improved by a lot when we have more character level content for the classes, because later on when we're like level 50, all of this is just like noob stuff.
Yeah, but like I if they're gonna keep up the way the scaling is on the enemies, I'm not looking forward to it, because it just means they're gonna get harder and more annoying to kill, even when they add new stuff. I'm like kind of like the gun boss, but in mighty defense now, because I'm sure that's gonna get like they have it now in the game, so there's no it's gonna show up elsewhere.
It'll fly around.
Yeah, I mean it won't immediately end stuff, but he's already annoying enough. Like he
moves around really fast, and he can get into the air that you can't target him.
And because you don't have any movement, they kind of remove a lot of the movement out of the photon arts and other stuff that you normally do to get up to him as a melee. We're not hitting that. It's really, oh man.
That, and because it's that boss and the other new Ragna boss that has the sort of double boss feature, there's not really. I don't think most people have learned how to actually effectively fight it and take it down, because it's only in the Manning rig. So you can't sit there and like actively, practice fighting it. You just have to deal with the Manning rig situation and then move on.
That and the scaling will probably be different too, because it won't be in the urgent quest.
Yeah.
Because they seem to not want to put level 20 enemies in the game. Like at most they'll put 15. So like the fact that they do that is really, really annoying, especially when you can go up 5 levels higher. And then the 5 levels higher don't really do much. Like you don't feel like you're 5 levels higher than the content. You're just it just looks like you die less. Unless you decide to stand in every single attack.
The only thing that makes you die less is having maxed fucking units.
And even then we still die a lot. Like honestly, we still die a lot even with maxed out units, and that doesn't feel right. Like I feel like I should be able to take a fucking hit and not still have half of my health go away.
Yeah, the only reason why I survive is because I have all the hunter skills, and that I put instead of just putting full DPS stats on my armor and stuff, I actually have defensive fixes on my armor.
Yeah, and I went the damage route. I'm like EQ. And I'm not doing enough damage. I literally did like the highest, like roughly
Didn't you make your armor units more universal though?
I did, but that shouldn't what's going to be the point difference on those, right? Like to be truthfully honest, because they're all percentage based.
Yeah, you're missing like I think you can get almost 3% of a single damage type on each unit. You're missing about 3.5 each, so like 10.5% more damage if you had literally all damage on the units.
But should that make that much of a difference? Though? Does it make that much of a difference? That's what my question is. Like I might, if I have to, I'll reaffix the units, but I wanted to be able to not have to I didn't want to have to fucking level up 3 sets of units, especially since we only get one of that one set.
Yeah, but now we have they gave us the new Vialto ones that are named.
Yeah. I mean, we can look into it, I guess. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about it.
It's something to do with content.
I mean, yeah,
but that's wait for content.
I know, but that's still just more grinding and it's still more grinding.
Because there's nothing else to do. Yeah, we got this event, but when we're done with the event, there's nothing to do again.
That's my problem. Is that, like, if it was fun to grind, and you got rewarded a bit more, then I would be more for it.
There isn't a thing to do that's actually like a rewarding grind.
Like there's not something that prefers the 4 stars over the 3 stars because I have no use for the 3 stars. I just still turn to Meseta for the most
Yeah,
part.
you can still get 2 stars on doing, you know, the
Highest
harder
level
versions
stuff.
of each PSE map.
Yeah,
You can't.
it should just focus on 3 and 4 stars, but you have to do so much shit just to get a 4 still. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. Like like
I mean,
even with a booster,
even though that's a thing, everything is still freaking.
like it does.
It's still dead in price in the player market, though.
Yeah, there's that too. And the thing is like I don't. If the enemies were less annoying to fight, I would probably play a little bit more. But I don't. It doesn't feel good when like I've put all this effort in Meseta and all this time getting my character to complete max, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm still like, here's this thing that's 5 levels lower than me. I'm like fucking taking like 3 minutes to kill it.
It's not good.
Like even with photon arts, like I have a habit of wanting to use normal attacks a lot because I like the I like the animation of it and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
that's bad in and of itself. But like the photon arts aren't like your base photon art, which is right click. Or for me I think it's Y because it's like X for normal attack, Y for that, and then it's RB for the third option, and then I can hold left trigger and then do the same buttons for the second half of the palette. But in any case, just for reference, but the base photon thing that's a 3-hit combo is
it's garbage.
It's garbage. It's so fucking slow, and the only hit that's worth hitting is the last one because that does like 400. That did like 400 damage on the peta.
Yeah.
And like I feel like being where I'm at, I should be hitting like 500 damage a hit or something like that, right? Get like with however much health they have or how much armor they have, I should be hitting 500 against like pre crit, and I should be breaking through the armor faster at max level. That I'm 5 levels higher than them and have everything maxed out.
Yeah.
I should at least be killing shit like that faster. And the frog things, I should be like murdering those fuckers, right? Like it shouldn't.
The frog things are annoying though. It's not even
even
because it takes harder to kill them. It's because you can't focus on their weak spot because they fucking turn around all the fucking time.
That, and they have like a ability that you have to elemental break or have them fall.
You have to elemental break with the ice or wait until they roll.
Yeah, they don't. These enemies aren't fun to fight. Like I could deal with them at the start.
They're annoying to fight.
So like, yeah, like I expected there to be problems if I'm like a little bit when I'm starting, right? Because I don't have anything. I've got no affixes, no nothing, right? But now that I've done all that stuff, it should be easier to fight them, and it's not. And it's not fun. It just drags on, and it makes it like. And I can't do AOE moves enough to like do PSE bursts to have them be fun. Like I'm gonna have to
I think
level up a launcher or
PSE
something.
burst also builds up way too slowly too.
There's that, and the fact that you can fucking have it go down. Like the fact that you can't finish enemy groups and you have to go immediately to the next one. Otherwise you risk like losing levels, and sometimes even do lose levels anyway. Like this doesn't fucking make any sense. And then like you could do that, go through the whole process, fight 3 bosses, and still not
part
get
of the
4
reason
stars.
why it's not fun to grind is because you can't get PSE bursts.
Well, that's
PSE
half of
bursts
it.
don't have the PSE bursts also don't have the PSE like level bursts they had in the original.
Yeah,
where you can double up on those bursts and then get those cross bursts, and then
it felt good to get those to keep it going. And then on top of that, the fact that you can do all of that, fight 5 bosses in the process and still not get 4 stars, it's fucking ridiculous. Like the whole point of doing PSC bursts is so you have a better chance of getting that stuff, is what I would think, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't expect to get rare drops on the regular mobs, just normal farming. But if I'm
all it really does is get rare mobs to spawn.
and all they give you is just level upgrade, like weapon upgrade materials, really.
Yeah,
Like that's
they're
it.
worth more XP for killing, but not that much more.
No, it's like and for the extra difficulty they supposedly provide, no,